Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Darker Side podcast. I am your host, Shannon Sikora. Now, today I would like to talk about the stalking and murder of Molly McLaren. And I'm sure, as you all know, domestic violence does not just happen in the United States. And today our case is going to take us to the UK. Also, I wanted to know this week we will not only be talking about domestic violence, but we'll also be talking about mental health and specifically eating disorders. So if that topic is triggering, feel free to end the video now. So let's begin. In 2015, Molly was 21 and a student. She was studying fitness at Kent University in Canterbury, England, and had a part-time job at Ted Baker as a sales associate. She was described as just a fun-loving and loyal person. Her mother said she loved to go to festivals, and in spite of her mental health issues, she seemed just like a super outgoing, happy young adult. She made friends everywhere she went, and her friends said that she was just the life of the party. Molly's best friend was Amy, who she worked with, and once they became close, Molly opens up to her about her mental health struggles. And Molly struggled with bulimia. So Molly used her struggles to help inspire others with the fitness blog. She tried to encourage people who were struggling with eating disorders. Her dad said that she wanted to show others that it was possible to overcome these challenges. And I really admire this as someone who has struggled with an eating disorder. It could be really helpful to hear someone else's story and how they got through it. And I'm sure as anyone would tell you that struggled with an eating disorder, you have your good days and your bad days. And it just seemed like Molly always turned a negative into a positive. So in 2016, Molly started to look for someone on Tinder. She just had moved into her university and wanted to meet somebody. And Molly never had a real serious relationship. She didn't really care what others were doing and what they thought she should be doing. And she didn't try to be like everyone else. But in this relationship, she was seeking someone that she could just connect with and spend her life with. Now, this is where Josh Stimser comes into the picture. Now, Josh was 24 years old at the time he met Molly. They chatted online for several months before meeting, and Molly didn't want to take things really fast. She wanted to take things very slow. And they became close as they shared things over texts and different chats. Molly felt like she had really connected with Josh, and one of these reasons is they both struggled with their mental health. Now, as we know, Molly struggled with an eating disorder, and Josh told Molly that he was struggling with bipolar disorder. Now, Molly decided to meet up with Josh, and he only lived 9 miles away from them. And once they decided to become a couple, Molly introduced him to her parents first and then her friends. Her mom more than likely knew about Josh before she even met him, I'm sure, because Molly was very close with her parents. And they welcomed Josh into their family pretty quickly. Um, Although Molly's mom did express some concerns with him having bipolar disorder. Now, her friends, on the other hand, were not as accepting. Josh quickly tried to come between her and her friends. An example of this would be when Josh met up with Molly and one of her friends named Alicia at the gym. Alicia just did not get a good first impression of him. She really couldn't put her finger on it, but she just said that he just was really awkward and quiet around her. And when Alicia and Molly left, Josh started texting Molly, and it was said that when reading these texts, it was obvious that Josh was trying to come between Molly and Alicia. As their relationship progressed, Molly found out that Josh really did not have many friends and was not interested in making any friends. He didn't even want to be around her friends. He just wanted to be around Molly and for Molly to only be around him. Now, this is a red flag because abusers isolate their victims. They isolate them from their friends, from their family, so this way they could have them all to themselves. This behavior just escalated. He was becoming more possessive and manipulative as time went on. He was always around Molly. He was spending more and more time with her at her place, even when Molly would say she needed some space to study and didn't want him to come over. He would show up uninvited and spend all day just sitting around. Then he would get mad when he just spent his day sitting around waiting for her. Even he even spent Father's Day with her and her parents instead of seeing his own dad, which for a new relationship, that's kind of weird. Or at least, splitting the day up and seeing both parents, but he just spent the whole day with Molly and her parents. And this is clearly overstepping boundaries, which is another red flag in a relationship. So Josh did play soccer, which in the UK they call it football, and this was on Sundays, but he would never let Molly see any of his games, which is another weird thing. And it did raise eyebrows in Molly's family. Now, Molly did try to talk to Josh about these things through text and probably verbally too, but Josh did not listen. Molly told him they couldn't be together all the time, and she was feeling a lot of pressure from him. Now, Josh quit his job when summer came around, and Molly had off from school. He did this more likely so he could keep better tabs on Molly because if he's working and she has a bunch of free time, he's not going to be able to keep tabs on her and see where she is. So during the summer, Molly spent a lot of time trying to help him find a new job. And Josh was just wearing Molly down. Molly became so focused on just trying to make him happy and lifting him up and helping him that she was just becoming drained. She knew she needed to take a step back and take a break from Josh. She just couldn't do it anymore. Now we know Molly wanted to take a break, but she she didn't know how to officially break up with him. And he came along to a big family celebration that they had. And during the celebration, Josh was just so controlling over her. He wanted to be with her at every moment. He didn't like her dancing with her cousins. He would glare at her to come back to the table when she did go and dance. And he just, no one really liked him at the party. The cousins that he met for the first time. So Um, yeah, they just did not get good vibes from him. So the celebration was in Essex, which is a county in England, and Molly lived in Kent County. I'm not sure how far away from the university, the place that they went to, but they did get hotel rooms for the night. So at some point during the night, it seems as though Josh was trying to pick a fight and record Molly's reaction. Now, this upset Molly so much that she even texted her mom to come help her. And then when her mom got to the room, Josh just kept shoving his phone in her face. And Molly thought that he was doing this to get some leverage on her. So, like I said, obviously he was with her family. Her family didn't really like him. And when they go back to the room, just the two of them, that's when Molly tells her that he's trying to pick a fight, like I said, and start recording her reactions. And there's just two possible things that I can think of as to why he would do this. Um, no, one, the fact that we know that he was with her family, like I said, and that they didn't like him. So he probably was not happy about that. And he probably if this was one of the reasons, and this is just me speculating, this is not in fact, that he probably was trying to get her to react so he could record her and then say, "Oh, she's crazy. Like, this is why I was the way I was. Like, she's the crazy one." Because they often, to try to isolate them more from their friends and family, the abuser will tell stories about their victim and try to, so this way when the victim goes to tell them what's really going on, they don't believe them. He also could have been trying to gaslight her. He knew she wanted out of the relationship because of how he was acting. So he could have tried to record her reaction to whatever he was saying to her. And then when she would be like, I can't do this, this is what's bothering me, this is what's going on, the way you're behaving, pull out the video and be like, I'm not the crazy one. Like, I have proof that you're the crazy one. Like, this is how you are acting. And so, trying to get her to manipulate her point of view. And at this point, this was the last straw. This was the last manipulation tactic that Molly could handle. And she was just done. And she was fed up. And she told her mom that she was just done. And as I said before, she just wanted out of this relationship. But she couldn't, she didn't know how to break it off with him. She had tried to break it off with him before, but it never ended well. And she just, in a way, just felt trapped. So on Molly's 23rd birthday, they argued all day over Facebook Messenger. Molly was going out that night with her friends, and of course, Josh was there. She just wanted to have a good time. I mean, who doesn't want to have a good time on your birthday? And, her friends are there to celebrate her. But all her friends were having a great time. But her and Josh were just arguing the whole time. And at this point, Molly just snapped. And she said she was done. And for Josh to just leave, she was done. And Josh made a huge scene while he left the pub. So Molly felt bad about this and told her friends that she was sorry that this was so public, and Josh also played on this guilt as well. This is probably what happened the other time she broke up with him. He probably played on that guilt and her sympathy card and got her to put her his feelings before her feelings and got her to come back to him. So, but this time though, she was not going back to him, despite him trying to play on that guilt and despite him texting her, trying to get her to come back to him. And she was doing things now that she wanted to do, and she wanted to get back to her routine and essentially get her life back. So Josh obviously was not happy with this, so he started posting really negative, nasty, and abusive things about her. He tagged her friends and family in these posts to make sure that they all saw them. And he really wanted to hurt her, so he started going after her career. He would spread lies. She's going into fitness, and he would spread lies, and one of the big lies that he would say would be that she was doing drugs. So she blocked him from all her social media accounts, but that did not stop him from putting post after post and just terrorizing her. So a couple days went by, and like I said, he was not stopping. So Molly and her mom went to the police. Not much was done. I mean, they gave all the information, but because there was never any trouble and he wasn't in their system, all they could do was tell her to block them, tell her to ask her friends to block them. And the police did give Josh a call and told him to remove the post. And um, he was very arrogant when they were talking to him, and he was not shocked at all that he was getting a call from the police, and he just didn't really seem to care. Now, the police did tell him that if he would continue this behavior, he would get arrested, and that he just didn't seem to care about that either. It just didn't faze him. Now, Molly and her friends and her family were still upset and shaken from all of this, and they even gave pictures of Josh to their neighbors and asked them just to keep an eye out. So Molly started posting on Snapchat about her routine and plans again. She was feeling a little bit more comfortable because she had him blocked and her friends all had him blocked, and I'm not sure. I think the post kind of stopped for a while, and and she was just feeling more comfortable about posting where she was going to be. And despite all of that, Josh still found a way to keep tabs on her. Now, one night, Molly posted on Snapchat that she was going to the Chatham Dockside to have dinner with her friends. And guess who walks in halfway through their meal? No other than Josh. He was with another girl, so Molly at first was not concerned. She just thought maybe it was just a coincidence, and she was happy and relieved that he was with another girl and possibly moving on. But that happiness and relief grew into concern as Josh walked past their table a couple times and just kept watching Molly. So Molly decided to go home early, and when she arrived at home, her mom asked why she was home so early. She wasn't planning on being home that early. And she told her mom that Josh had showed up. And Molly and her mom were racking their brains trying to figure out how he knew she was there. After all, he didn't have access to her Snapchat or any social media for her or her friends. So Molly just tried to say that it was just a coincidence and nothing more. But this was way more than just a coincidence. She was taking every precaution she could to protect herself, but it simply was not enough for an abuser and stalker like Josh. The morning after this incident, which was June 29th, 2017, for Molly, it started out like just a typical morning. She was headed to the gym to record some workout videos, and she started working out and making a video, and Josh shows up. He started working out right next to her. Now, Molly started freaking out. I think anyone in this situation would feel the same way, start just freaking out, and this guy that's been abusing you just shows up every place you go. That's that's scary. And she starts messaging her best friend Amy to say that she was really scared. Molly then asked Josh if he was following her and why he wasn't at work. Then he told her that that was really none of her business. So after this, Molly picked up her things and collected herself and called her mom. Her mom and Amy both said that she just needs to go home and not to approach him again and just get her stuff and leave. So Molly waited for Josh to leave. Once he left, she thought that she could make it to her car and head home. Little did she know that Josh was waiting for her in the parking lot. Molly got into her car and Josh came out of nowhere. Molly was trapped in her car as Josh started attacking her and stabbing her. Molly is screaming and struggling to get free. She was blaring the horn of her car. This got the attention of a passerby. He tried pulling Josh off of her and even slamming the car door on his legs, but this was to no avail. Josh would not budge. He was unable to get Josh away from Molly. The police were called while all this was going on, and when they arrived, Josh walked up to them and said, "She's in the car. I killed her." Josh was covered in blood, and Josh was taken into custody. So Molly was pronounced dead at the scene. She had 75 stab wounds. So Josh was charged with first-degree murder. Now, despite the fact that he was found with blood all over him and the murder weapon in the car, Josh pled not guilty to first-degree murder. He did plead guilty to manslaughter because, according to him, he was suffering from diminished responsibility due to his mental state. Now, the judge presiding, which is Judge Adele Williams, she was presiding over this case, did not buy this though, which is good. She said that she was certain Stimson was not suffering from a personality disorder, and when Josh was arrested, he was assessed by the prosecution and the defense psychiatrist. They both determined he did not suffer from any personality disorder, not even bipolar, like he claimed to Molly that he had. He used this diagnosis to connect with Molly. He manipulated her into thinking he had bipolar to play on her empathy card and to just connect with her. And so that way she would have to worry about his feelings more than her own. Molly was not the only girl he was stalking either. He was stalking another girl he while he was talking to Molly. Josh was threatening to come to where this other girl was on vacation and drown her. He also slashed this girl's tires, and she did go to the police and report him. And yet again, another girl came forward. She had never gone to the police about the stalking and threatening that Josh was doing to her, but she wanted to come forward and give evidence of just how evil Josh was. So the police also found out how Josh was able to track Molly's movements, even though Molly and her friends had blocked him on all social media. Josh had met another woman. She told Josh she was a hacker who stalked people. So she would send Molly and Molly's friends friend requests, and then once they accepted her as a friend, she would give Josh all the information of where Molly was. Now, she was in court also, and she did not seem to really care much about what happened, and she actually seemed pleased with her work and did not care that her actions got a beautiful 23-year-old young lady killed. She did not care at all. Now, Judge Williams told Josh, and this is a quote, "This was a cruel, calculated, and cowardly act. That was an act of wickedness. You took away Molly's life quite deliberately in the most vicious fashion. You were determined to punish her for ending their relationship with you, and you were seeking revenge. She was 23 years old, beautiful, and intelligent. Her family's grief and anguish is raw and apparent for everyone to see. You are a highly dangerous young man, and you will pose a very considerable risk to women for a very considerable period in the future." So he was sentenced to, he was found guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison with the minimum of 26 years. And it only took the jury 4 hours to come up with this verdict. Now, Molly's funeral was on August 21st, 2017, and her parents asked for everyone who was attending to wear bright colored clothes and also to decorate the also to donate to the Molly McLaren Foundation instead of bringing flowers to decorate the funeral home. Or so since Molly struggled with an eating disorder and was making it her life's work to help others and show others you can overcome this, her parents started the Molly McLaren Foundation to help bring awareness and distribute money to charities that support people with eating disorders. Another thing I wanted to mention was Benjamin Morton. He was the man that was trying to save Molly, and he was presented with a special accommodation um, by the High Sheriff of Kent, who was George Jaceel. And during this ceremony, he met Molly's parents for the first time. And he also was awarded 5,000 pounds for his courage. Because not only did he try to save Molly, but he also stopped Josh from getting away. Molly's parents feel like this is a complete lack of communication between police forces. Maybe if the police forces shared information, they would have been able to see the reports that were sent from Josh about Josh in other counties, and maybe this wouldn't have happened to Molly.
There's a complete lack of communication between different police forces.
If man or woman goes to the police frightened about someone, even though that person might not be arrested, but there should be a notes, there should be a database with their name on it. Had there been one then with his name on it for things he did up in Staffordshire, then when Molly went to the police, they would have seen his name.
And also I wanted to mention on August 21st, every year the community puts on a festival called Molly Fest in her honor, and they use the sunflower to represent her.
Basically music, food, drink, people getting together. At Molly's wake, it was so lovely having all family and friends together, and a few of her friends said, wouldn't it be lovely to do this once a year? And that's where we got the idea from. Let's have a Molly Fest, because Molly loved festivals.
We formed the foundation after Molly died. Molly had suffered with bulimia, but she'd largely overcome it. And she showed us and she showed other people that you can beat it.
Looking around, the sunflower is everywhere. I know it's a symbol of Molly, but why?
Sunshine, it's beautiful, it's summed up in a flower what Molly was.
And I also have really high respects for parents that create foundations and things of that nature to help people that go through the same thing that their kids have gone through. It's really, really brave, and it's the bringing good during the worst time of your life is shows the kind of character that these parents have and other parents that have done the same thing. It's just amazing. So that is it for me today, guys. I have a couple things. I will not be uploading again until January 8th. I will be taking a trip to Cali. So I have a lot of things in the works for this channel, and I will also be starting a travel channel. I will be documenting my trip from from Florida to California. And like I said before, there will be a lot of new things in the new year to this channel, as well as the new channel that I'm starting. So I want to wish everyone happy holidays and have a great new year. Comment, subscribe on YouTube, rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow me on Instagram, and email me with any suggestions if you have a story you'd like to share, or a story you'd like me to talk about. And all the information is going to be in the description box below. And for my new travel channel, I'll also have the Instagram, because I'll probably put some like lives up there and pictures, and my vlogs will probably go up after the whole trip when I come back. So yeah, so I hope you guys all have happy holidays. I will see you again on January 8th. And make sure you listen to that, so this way you know of all the new things that are coming in the in the new year for this channel. So until then, bye everyone.